Okay, testing the DJI Pocket 2 against the Sony ZV-1, and it's near sunset right now, and I just wanted to test out the two cameras. The Osmo Pocket is just the onboard mics, and the Sony ZV-1 is also the onboard mics, but with the wind cover over it. It's not really that windy out, so I don't think it'll affect the Osmo Pocket at all. On the Sony ZV-1, I have active stabilization turned on. Both are shot in 4K, 30 frames per second. See how it does shooting right into the sun. Just a beach area. Oh, I can't go down there. I'll go down to the steps. Just trying to test out the stabilization of the two. Obviously the Osmo Pocket's going to have a little bit more stabilization, or a lot more stabilization, because it's a gimbal. With the ZV-1 you can see the amount of cropping, because both 4K it crops in as well as for active stabilization. So I'm just walking through. You can see all the bird prints down there from earlier today. There was a ton of birds out here. There's a few left, but those are just ducks. So I just have a bracket arm connecting the ZV-1, or connecting the Osmo Pocket to the ZV-1, just to keep them both in sync for where I'm pointing at the same point. The Pocket 2 gimbal's a little bit slower. By design, I've actually have it slowed down, so it'll take a second or two to catch up, but I prefer the slower cinematic look. You can get those flowers in there. Now the Osmo Pocket 2 does focus a lot closer than the original Osmo Pocket did. Let's get some sun here so we can actually see the two. I need to get the there we go. Now the two are closer together. They're closer in sync. The Osmo Pocket gimbal was a little bit different. You see there's a huge fire out there. I don't know what that is. It could just be burning the fall decay from the forest preserve. They sometimes do that just to get the growth for the next year, which I think that's what that is. A simple walking test at sunset. See how the shadows come out. See, there's a huge fire out there. I don't know what that is. It could just be burning the fall decay from the forest preserve. They sometimes do that just to get the growth for the next year, which I think that's what that is. A simple walking test at sunset. See how the shadows come out. This is me stationary and just doing it by hand on the ZV-1. Obviously the gimbal on the Pocket 2. Just really good colors this afternoon. This is me stationary and just doing it by hand on the ZV-1. Obviously the gimbal on the Pocket 2. It's just really good colors this afternoon. Trying to get as much shadow in here for the cameras to do their stuff. Trying to get as much shadow in here for the cameras to do their stuff. This actually keeps it in sync better with the Sony. They both look really good. And the Osmo Pocket is obviously going to be a lot more stable. See how much detail it gets in these rocks. Now the Osmo Pocket is obviously a lot wider. There's that fire out there. Gotta watch when I walk so I don't trip and fall. They're really good sunset colors. So I'm going to walk on the grass just because the rocks can. Actually, the ZV-1 stabilization does not look bad. Granted, it zooms in a lot though. It's probably like a 32mm with 4K and the active stabilization. For the Osmo Pocket, having the gimbal, there's no cropping in. They're shooting directly into the sun. See how that looks. Go back to walking now. Like I said, the grass is actually pretty decent to walk on. The rocks or the stones are kind of uneven, so it makes it harder to keep the stabilization going. They're shooting directly into the sun. See how that looks. Go back to walking now. Like I said, the grass is actually pretty decent to walk on. The rocks or the stones are kind of uneven, so it makes it harder to keep the stabilization going. See how this tall grass looks. On the screen they both look really good. The Sony just has a little bit better color on screen. Fire's still going. And back into the sun. See how this tall grass looks. On the screen they both look really good. The Sony just has a little bit better color on screen. Fire's still going. And back into the sun. See, with those little adjustments with the hand, it comes out a lot better with the Osmo Pocket having the gimbal. I said if I'll get like micro jitters with the Sony as I kind of take each step. That sometimes happens. Just let some of the sun colors go over there. See how much detail we get in both. See how the barrel comes out. People talking behind me, so it'll probably come out on the mics. The library, what kind of detail you can get in the books. It's hard to keep the gimbals in sync because they're such different fields of view. Just a control burn. Hopefully the sound's being picked up by both mics. There's walking test across grass. Osmo Pocket. You see the field of view difference on this. Try to keep both in the center of the frame. The Osmo Pocket's a lot easier because it's a lot wider field of view. So the sun's actually down, there's just a little bit of dusk light left. You're kind of dizzy doing that. Christmas tree. See how much of the wreath it picks up. The details in the evergreens. I believe, yeah, they're real. So here I'm under a building, or a porch, just see how the quality comes out. I'm gonna go outside and trying to keep myself in screen there. So hopefully the Osmo Pocket's getting me as well. I kind of have it on a little bit of an angle, so hopefully it's still getting me. So here's with the sun down, just a little bit of dusk left. Okay, whoop. A little bit of a bump there. Just walking into the water. Just see how they both do in much lower light. Oh, let's see. I just turned the ND filter off on the ZV-1, and the Osmo Pocket didn't have one on at all. I had to change it to FPV mode on the Osmo Pocket, so at least be consistent. So, no ND filters on this footage here. So here's a low light walking test, or lower light. Again, active track on the ZV-1, or yeah, active stability on the ZV-1, and then the Pocket 2 has a gimbal attached, obviously. Ponds are starting to freeze over. I definitely wouldn't walk on it, but see how the sharpness is for both. Trying to get them both in frame there. Couple steps here. This with active track on the Pocket 2, staying on my face. So this is going to wrap up the video. It's just a quick test to see how well each one did, because the Sony has a 1-inch sensor and the Pocket 2 has a 1/1/7 inch sensor, so it's a little bit smaller, or about half, I believe. So just seeing how they do at low light and see which one, which one I'd rather carry. I definitely like the stability of the DJI Pocket 2. But the bigger screen and bigger sensor, the Sony, is also nice as well. So I think they both have distinct purposes. Neither's 100% for anything, but with the combination, I think pretty much anything can be captured.